okay? So something like, hey, what is leadership? Does anyone have any ideas? Who wants to go out on a limb and say, what's leadership? Anything? I'll challenge.
Make sure you're in control.
Okay, so what, like, I agree, but how does that look? Like tangibly, how would you manifest that?
You want to lead by example.
Okay.
You want to behave in certain ways that are going to inspire everybody else to behave in similar ways.
I like it, but can you give me an example?
Confidence?
Okay, what's an example of it though? Like a physical manifestation of how you can convey leadership. Confidence, we know what that is and we can perceive it, but what does that look like to a dog?
Just simply the way you present yourself in the room.
Yep, for sure, how you carry yourself.
You don't want to be like too tense when you walk in, and then you can cause tension with other
For sure.
things that are in the room with you, humans and animals.
Mm-hmm. So with these particular things with leadership, what I'm going to do is really define how you can exponentially increase your leadership in a way that the dog clearly understands, but also in a way that is more tangible for all of you, because like right now, it's a little bit difficult to quantify what leadership is, right? I heard confidence, I heard showing you're in control, okay? But it's difficult, like what does that mean physically, right? So with that leadership, what we're going to do is look at in a couple of frames, okay? So the first piece of it is like, I like to refer to it as prompting. Okay, you're going to by default take a little bit lesser of a status role with the dog if the dog's the one who's doing most of the like, do the thing, human, pet me. Barking, whining, scratching at the back door to get let outside, jumping on and off furniture on their own accord, bringing you a ball and you instantly throw it endlessly. Like it's like instant gratification. They ask, you give it. If you consider, and you don't have to buy into this, but just consider that it's a possibility that it's true, is that dogs learn by trial and error. And if my dog prompts me 5, 10, 15, 20 times for affection when they want it, going outside when they want it, feeding time when they want it because they might whine or bark or nudge you, jumping on the bed and cuddling with you on their time, they might have 30 repetitions of prompting you a day and you ask them 3 times to sit before their meal. So you're unintentionally conditioning them to like tell you like, hey, do the thing. And you're going to say, oh, sure, because you're cute and I love you and you're so sweet and I want to make you happy. But it's like a child too. Like once again, if I give my 9-year-old son what he wants, when he wants, as much of it as he wants, what kind of child do you think I'm going to raise? Any guesses?
One that won't listen to you.
Probably a difficult one, right? So when I actually do need him to, clean his room or something, he has a 5-alarm meltdown because he's not accustomed to me ever telling him to do anything. So that the beauty of this is I don't have to be physical. I don't have to be large. Like not everyone's, 6'2", my size, okay? 95% of my clients are females. So I'm not being like, hey, you got to show this dog who's boss by physically doing stuff to it. It's not true. So anyways, with the prompting, that's side one, okay? It's really going to help you establish yourself as more of a leadership position. Second side of it is controlling space. So think of like 2 sides of a coin. Who's prompting who? I should be prompting the dog more than them me, or else I'm by default taking a lower status role. And controlling space. So what I mean by that is sometimes, most often, we're kind and considerate towards dogs. And there's nothing wrong with that. But sometimes it can get misconstrued. So if my dog's in the middle of the hallway or in the middle of my kitchen and I'm like doing this around them, I'm just probably, giving up an opportunity to reinforce some of that leadership. Now, what I'll say is that these 2 sides of the coin with leadership aren't as relevant if your dog does what you want it to do, when you want it to, and it listens really well. But most people, when they call me into a private session, their dog is not doing well listening and it has a bunch of behavioral problems. So take in stride and be conscious of it is I don't have to be as mindful of all these little nuances in leadership if my dog already listens to me all the way that I want. And I can not have to be as mindful about the prompts. Because one of my dogs prompted me all the time and I'd let him. But he listened to me when I told him to do something, right? Or it's like, hey, come off leash, or walk nice. And he's like, sure, and it was fine. So anyways, controlling space. I'll convey what that means shortly, but essentially it just means like I'm gonna take more of an active role of I'm gonna gently move through the dog, not ask them, but they just start to move out of the way. Kind of like if you met your boss in the hallway and you guys are walking face to face, you're probably not gonna be like, and then like do like the chicken game and who's gonna pass off first. You're probably gonna be respectful, oh, good morning, hi. Or you'll stop and talk to each other, but it's somewhat like that, okay?